All right, all right, all right. Give me one moment, people. We'll start soon, soon, soon. I promise. Just trying to get this link out so everyone can come and join. So I used to do these every week. I used to do a stream every day. Life has been a little crazy, but I'll try to do as much as possible. Obviously, I do the weekly prep, I do the daily prep every week and every day, whether I stream it or not. I just want to be a little bit better about streaming it, since I'd like to journal it for myself, and hopefully other people enjoy as well. So this is our weekly chart prep. Streaming now. Okay, link is out. Let me switch this. Okay, we are ready to go. Let me turn this music down a bit. Background noise is good, but it can't be too distracting. All right. So the goal of this stream is to look at the NQ and maybe look at the ES as well, and get an idea for what we want to see in the coming week. Mark out some levels, stuff like that, and build a little bit of a game plan. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to remove all drawings that we had laid out from last week, and I'm going to go to the weekly chart. Actually, I'm going to go to the daily. Now, I don't know if 2 degrees news thing is not working or something, but I'm not seeing anything on here. Show labels, show lines. Okay. It's like refreshing. Let's try this again. Still don't see anything. You know, we can probably delete this fair value gap one, but whatever. Okay. We're not going to worry about it. We'll look at Forex Factory, but that is one of the things that we want to look at is the economic calendar, of course. But I like to start out on the weekly chart. So, weekly chart of NQ. Obviously, we are bullish as heck, right? We had a weird situation last week where we had an outside bar on the weekly. Now, I'm trying to see how often that happens just on these recent weeks, and it seems pretty freaking rare. Okay, so this was the last time. Literally, like, okay, so let's zoom out a little bit. So the last time we had an outside bar like this, we also had a close under the close, so that's, and close under the low as well. So that's a different situation. We literally have an outside bar that did not close over either side, which is a strange one. Okay, so here's where we last had that. June 23. June of 2023. Not too long ago. And we did not have an inside bar. Huh. Just trying to get an idea, like, what should I expect in this case? I think we're pretty close to this low, and it's relative equal lows. Sorry if you hear my dog being very obnoxious behind me, but we're gonna put previous week low on there. We're gonna put previous week high on there, because that's something you want to have. In my opinion, it's something you want to have in your chart no matter what. No matter if you're expecting that to be a draw or not, it can be a draw. You need to know when you're reacting to that point. So I think the first draw is likely to be previous week low. And I do still want to look at this fair value gap here. So this is a fair value gap on the weekly. 1 week fair value gap. I like to color them a little bit differently for the 1 weeks versus just another fair value gap I'm looking at. Because this is a higher time frame draw, so this is something I'm looking for the daily candles to run towards potentially. We also have a little bit of a weekly order block down there. That would be interesting. We have a lot of low resistance. On the weekly, it's low resistance liquidity, right? The last time weekly swept lows, swing lows, was in this retracement back. Speaking of that retracement back, we can also project from that retracement back, and we can see that we have hit our -2, -2.5, and have busted through it, honestly. So I would expect -4 to be some sort of draw in the future. That doesn't mean we run to it this week. But it's something to keep in mind. We're still bullish, right? I see a lot of people after last week go, oh my God, we're bearish now. I'm only going to play shorts. Longs are over. Like, come on, guys. This is about as bullish as you can get, right? So until that changes, don't be so certain that we're gonna have a bearish week. That being said, we could, and it makes sense. So it would make sense to maybe potentially come back to this weekly fair value gap. Maybe just tap the top of it, and that could happen Monday or Tuesday. So we do have an event on Monday. It is in the United States. It is President's Day. President's Day is a bank holiday, I believe. And I believe there is some kind of different trading hours. So yeah, all day Monday is a bank holiday for the US. And I'm trying to find my email from Top Step on this, because they told me about the sent me an email about the trading hours that day. So according to their email, Monday has a 12 p.m. Central Time, so that's 1 p.m. Eastern close, and then a regular open. It is possible to trade up until that time, but usually when that happens, I mean, it's generally just not going to be a nice day, right? So, I'll look, but Monday is a little bit of a day where we might just not participate, right? There's not a high probability of participation that day. I'll say that. But Yeah, I do think a potential here. So we had internal to external taking this high. We have displaced, sort of, kind of. We've closed back through that high. I could see a world where we come back into this gap and leave that low, that swing low. So maybe just hit the top and take off again. Now let's go back down to the daily. So I always put my previous day high and low, even though previous day high might not be in jeopardy. Previous day low, I believe, is in jeopardy. Give me 1 second. My dog is crying. Sorry about that. Okay. So previous day high, previous day low. Previous day low is going to be the first draw on liquidity that I'm looking for. Just because of the fact that Friday closed under its previous day low. So when that happens, I'm always sort of looking for that. We also have a little bit of, I don't want to say it's bearish structure because it's really not. But we have had a nice drop with a retrace back into the range and another drop, right? We do have some kind of, yeah, it's tough. It's honestly a little bit of a tough call on this because we've had a lot of sweeps and runs, right? We had a little bit of a sweep and I thought it was going to be a run, but it didn't. And we pushed back down. So I do think that these lows here, there's some relatively equal lows on like the 4 hour. And that's what I'm looking at. That would also be a change in state delivery on the daily. If we do get a push down here and a close, we'd be looking at a potential reversal on the daily, and it could lead to some lower prices in a short term kind of sense. But you know, until then, previous day low is all I would be looking at. And if we get really aggressive, you know, depending on projections and stuff like that, I could see previous week low being a draw first this week, and maybe even hitting this gap like I was saying. So imagine, you know, that would make sense. We put in a little bit of a wick here overnight, maybe push like this Monday, and then maybe push like this on Tuesday, and have Wednesday come back up and potentially go higher, right? But we'll see how that forms. If that does form like that, I mean, thing is there's no fair value gaps, right? You notice that? It's not leaving fair value gaps here. There is a fair value gap right here, but it was closed through. And there's a little fair value gap right here that has been just bing bonged to death. We do have a daily open gap here. That's pretty interesting, right on top of that weekly fair value gap. So Yeah, that's my thought here is that we go lower and get into this 1 week fair value gap and then potentially make a strong bullish move. But we'll have to see how that, plays out. So I think this is all I want to have up on NQ right now. I think this is it. Back to the news. There is FOMC minutes on Wednesday and Canadian CPI on Tuesday. So Tuesday morning, Canadian CPI, it's not something that you always see something happen, but there's potential there. There's always potential that a red folder news of a country that's closely associated with the United States is going to do something. Like Great British Pound, Euro dollar, or the Euro, same kind of thing. And then Thursday we have PMI number at 9:45 and unemployment claims at 8:30. So that would be probably a good excuse to have some kind of pump if we are going to have some weekly profile of a Tuesday low of the week with a bullish expansion event. So soft bias on that. I think that could make some sense. Now, while I'm talking about that, it was shown to me that the DXY has somewhat of a similar but opposite thing going on. So if we look at that, we look at the DXY, there are people talking about it on the weekly, I believe. It did have a little bit of a rebalance of a fair value gap there, hit an order block. Yeah, interesting. I could see a push lower, low resistance liquidity right there, right? Could see a push lower on DXY. So that would line up. Wow, this is an interesting chart. Some consolidation, right? A little bit of consolidation. But I could see a push lower. It could make sense. I never really look at DXY that much, but that's worth a little glance. If we're talking ES, so remember on NQ, we were thinking a potential beginning of the week retracement into a weekly fair value gap and then a bullish expansion event. Let's see if that lines up with the ES. I'm going to look at the weekly first. We are on the weekly. Damn, this looks so ridiculously bullish. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy how one-sided. What the heck do I over here? 15-minute fair value gap. Wow. It's crazy how one-sided this price action has been since November, since October, I guess, really. It's hard to say it's going to do anything other than go up, right? We do have the same situation here on ES where it pulled. Remember, this is the weekly, where it pulled both the previous week high and low. slightly higher on ES. So yeah, this seems a little strange compared to the NQ. But man, it's just been steady chugging, huh? Steady chugging. We don't have a fair value gap until here on the ES. But we, well, okay. I was going to say we haven't taken any external, but we definitely did, huh? Took the, okay, I could see a push down to the weekly fair value gap for sure on ES. I could see that happening. This is all-time highs. Let's say BSL. This is actually all-time high. Let's make it a little bigger. Dotted line's good. All right. Obviously, it's not all-time high anymore. It took it, so. Yeah, I could see that. Let's put our previous week high and low on a CS chart. I should start doing this. I haven't honestly been doing this on ES, but I probably should. Let's go to the daily. The daily will just do the same here. Like I said, it's not like the most guaranteed locked in thing that we're going down. Because it didn't close under. See, NQ closed under the low here. ES did not. I still think previous day low is probably the draw. It did close under the open. If that means anything to you. I think that could potentially mean something. Let's see where we are on the wick test here. Okay. It respected the halfway point, obviously. Didn't tick perfectly anywhere. On the daily, if we do the same projections. Now, what's pretty interesting about ES versus NQ, if you remember, NQ in this consolidation period, it was a slow, choppy grind downwards and then a pump up. ES really went sideways, really went sideways. Now, it did kind of go to rebalance this gap and did take the liquidity, but this didn't. So that's an SMT divergence, right? If you see that. Oh, sorry, I'm not even looking at the right thing. Not a SMT divergence. Okay, so ES did do that same move. That's the move I want to look at. So NQ and ES did that same move. NQ has put in a little bit of, I would say probably cleaner action here versus ES. I mean, this is just sort of dirty right here. But if we project out our daily projection here, we can project out and we can see that it already hit the 4 here. Already hit the 4 there. I'm gonna save that. dog really wants me to play with him. All right. So it did hit that. Let me see on the weekly, because this is where NQ had plenty of room to run still. Let's see if ES has this a similar thing. It does. So there's plenty of room to go up still. That's going to be, I mean, that's going to be my long-term bias. I think this week we could tap into some lower pricing. But my overall bias is going to be hitting that right there. That's all I'm going to do, I think. I'm really going to see, you know, what Monday does. I would like to see it go lower, I think. But we'll see how it goes. That's our weekly chart prep. That's it. It's pretty simple. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you liked it. If you think I should be adding other things in, please feel free to share. But that's usually what I'm doing. So have a good one. Good luck this week. Hope everyone does well trading, and I'll talk to you next time.